A few words about keyboard shortcuts. They are actually very useful for command line work. Let's take a look at them. Erase a single character, backspace, or Control H, or Control question, or delete, word erase, Control W, kill, erase complete line, Control U. This can be very useful when you enter something wrong on an invisible line, such as when entering a password. Renew the output, Control R, kill current process, Control C, or delete. In fact, those strange settings for the delete key were used by some older Unix, and many were very confused when trying to delete incorrectly entered characters. They killed the executing application. Control slash kill the current process too, but with a memory dump. Such a dump can be used to analyze the internal state of programs by the debugger. It can be created in the system automatically during a program crash if you have configured your system accordingly. Or like this, by Control slash keystroke to analyze state, for example, a frozen program. More information about core dump you can find in our Under the Hood core dump lecture. Control S, stop a current process, and Control Q, continue previously paused process. And if the program seems to be frozen, first try pressing Control Q to resume the process. Perhaps you accidentally pressed Control S. End of file. End of file mark can be used to complete input of something. And suspend, Control Z. As you probably know, this is the end of file mark in a Microsoft systems. But on Unix-like systems, it stops the current process and disconnects it from the current terminal line. After that, the execution of this process can be continued in foreground or in the background. Corn shell and born again shell keyboard shortcuts. Double escape or tab. Autocomplete files and folder names. This is very useful for dealing with Unix-like file systems with a very deep hierarchical nesting. As we will see later, for example, 3 levels of nesting is a commonplace for such systems. Of course, we can use file management interfaces like graphical file managers or text file managers like Midnight Commander, reminiscent of classic Norton Commander. But as we can see in most cases, the auto-completion mechanism makes navigation the file system faster and can be easier if you know what you are looking for. To use this machinery, you just need to start typing what you want. Command name, file path, or environment variable name. Press tab and the shell will try to help you complete the word. If it finds an ambiguous match, the shell will simply complete what is started. And if you have many variants, shell will print them and wait for new characters to appear from mass to unambiguously start the line. Yet another shell keystrokes, Control P, go to the previous command line on history, Control N, go to the next command on history, Control F, move cursor forward one symbol, Control B, move cursor backward one symbol, Meta F, move cursor forward one word, Meta B, move cursor backward one word. Control A, go to the beginning of line, Control E, go to the end of line, Control L clears the screen, similar to the clear command. Control R lets you search through the previously used commands, and Control K clear the line after the cursor. Looks more or less clear, except for the meta K. The meta K was a modifier K on certain keyboards, for example, Sun Microsystems keyboards. And this K used in other programs. Emacs text editor, for example. On keyboards that lack a physical meta K, common PC keyboard, for example, its functionality may be invoked by other keys, such as the Alt key or Escape. But keep in mind the main difference between such keys. The Alt key is also a key modifier and must be pressed at the same time as the modified key. But Escape generally is a real ASCII character, 27 or hex 1b or octal 33, and is sent sequentially before the next key of the combination. Another key point is that the origins of those key combinations are different. The second is just the defaults for those specific shell and can be changed using the shell settings. But the first one is the TTY driver settings. And if we want to change such keyboard shortcuts, for example, so that the delete key does not interrupt the process, we can do this by asking the operating system kernel to change the parameter of the corresponding driver. As we will see later, this can be done with the STTY utility.